Hello everyone, today we are going to read about the DNA replication. So before starting the DNA replication, I suggest you to read the structure of the DNA, the genetic code and its features, the nucleotides, purines and pyrimidines. It would really help you to understand the DNA replication. And also I want you to understand the purines and pyrimidines and its structure, like the chemical structure of the purines and pyrimidines. Now let us jump to the DNA replication. So the DNA replication, as you can see, the genetic information is transmitted from parent to progeny by the replication of the parental DNA. The process in which two daughter DNA molecules are produced that are identical to the parental DNA molecule. During DNA replication, the two complementary strands of parental DNA are pulled apart. Each parental strand is then used as a template for synthesis of new complementary strand. That's why the DNA replication is semi-conservative replication. During cell division, each daughter cell receives one of the two identical DNA molecules. As you can see, as you can see here, as you can see here in the picture, the bacterial chromosome. The bacterial chromosome is the closed double-stranded circular DNA. Circular DNA molecule having single origin of replication. Single origin of replication. The bacterial DNA have only single origin of replication. Separation of the two parallel strands of the DNA creates two replication forks. Two replication forks. And that move away from each other in the opposite direction around the circle. Replication is thus bidirectional process. The two replication forks eventually meet, resulting in the production of the two identical circular DNA. However, each eukaryotic chromosome, this is the prokaryotic chromosome, this is the eukaryotic chromosome. Each eukaryotic chromosome contains one linear molecule of double-stranded DNA. As I have already discussed you the structure of the DNA, having multiple origin of replication. Multiple origin of replication. Bidirectional replication occurs by the means of pair of replication fork produced at each origin. Completion of the process result in the production of the two identical linear molecules of double-stranded DNA. Two identical. This is one. This is two. Two identical molecules of the double-stranded DNA. Sister chromatis, also known as the sister chromatis. DNA replication occurs in the nucleus. DNA replication always occurs in the nucleus during the S phase. During the S phase of the eukaryotic cell cycle. I will discuss the detail about the cell cycle in the subsequent lectures. And the two identical sister chromatids are separated from each other where the cell division divides during the meiosis. So now we have talked the brief about the prokaryotic and eukaryotic DNA replication. Now I will discuss the detail in the steps of DNA replication. Let me drop this. So I have already discussed the DNA, the double-stranded DNA of the eukaryotic organism are the multiple origin of replications. And I'm showing this as only one part of the replication where the DNA replication has occurred. One part of the replication where the DNA replication occurs. Here what happens? The base sequence of the origin replication is recognized. First of all, what happens? Base sequence. The base sequence of the origin of replication is recognized. That is AT-rich sequence. The AT-rich sequence, the base sequence is recognized. As I have already told you in the earlier lecture that the A pairs with T and the C pairs with G. By the A pairs with T with the 2 hydrogen bond, whereas the C pairs with G with the 3 hydrogen bonds. So it will be easier to open up the DNA molecule in the AT sequence, AT-rich sequence. So the base sequence of origin of replication is recognized in the AT-rich sequence. And now what happened? There is one enzyme, helicase. The enzyme helicase breaks the hydrogen bond holding the base pair together. It breaks the hydrogen bond. The AT have hydrogen bond. The helicase breaks this hydrogen bond. So now helicase break this hydrogen bond, and it allows the 2 parallel strands of DNA to begin unwinding and forms 2 replication forks. So I have already said you why helicase unwind at the AT-rich sequence, because it is more easier to unwind the AT-rich sequence than CG-rich sequence, because the AT has only 2 hydrogen bond, whereas the CG has 3 hydrogen bond. So it is easier to open in the AT-rich sequence. So now what did we do? First of all, there is the identification of the origin of replication, and the helicase breaks down the hydrogen bond holding the base pair together. And now what happens is that there are SSB protein, single stranded DNA binding protein. These are called SSB protein that binds to the single stranded portion of the each strand of DNA. They bind to the single stranded portion of the each DNA strand, preventing them from reassociation and protecting them from degradation by the nucleases. So SSB protein acts in the play, and it binds to the single stranded portion of the each DNA strand, and it prevents them from reassociation and protecting from nucleases. First of all, prevent reassociation and protects from the nucleases. So after we open the DNA, we break down the hydrogen bond, and the DNA molecule is such a wonderful molecule that it try to reassociate. So to prevent from the reassociation, SSB protein is there, and SSB protein also protect it from the nucleases. And what happens is that after that the primase synthesizes short about 10 nucleotides RNA primer. The RNA primer is synthesized by the primase in the 5 prime 3 prime direction. Beginning at the origin of each parental strand, the parental strand is used as a template for this process. The RNA primers are required because DNA polymerase are unable to initiate the synthesis of the DNA. The DNA polymerase can't initiate the synthesis of the DNA. So the RNA primer is there. The DNA polymerase can only extend, it can only extend a strand from 3' end of the preformed primer. So the only action is that the DNA polymerase can only extend the strand from the 3' end. So that is the action of the RNA primer. And now DNA polymerase 3. DNA polymerase 3 comes to play in the action. It begins synthesis of the DNA in the 5' to 3' direction. Beginning at the 3' end of the RNA primer, the newly synthesized, the DNA polymerase 3 start to add more and more strand from the 3' end. So the DNA polymerase 3 begins synthesize DNA in the 5' 3' direction, beginning at the 3' end of the each RNA primer. So from here also 5' 3', 5' 3', it adds the sequence in the 3' direction. The newly synthesized strand is complementary and anti-parallel to the parental strand and used as a template. This strand can be made continuously in the one long piece. It is known as the leading strand. One long piece is known as the leading strand. Whereas the lagging strand, you can see the lagging strand, is synthesized discontinuously by the series of small fragments like 1000 nucleotides. These are the small fragments of the lagging strand. This is also known as Okazaki fragments. Each Okazaki fragment is initiated by the synthesis of RNA primer by the primase and then completed by the synthesis of DNA using DNA polymerase 3. Each fragment is made in the 5' to 3' direction. As you know, the DNA's replication occurs in the 3', 5' direction. Now let us go to the RNA primers. So after the work of the RNA primer is finished, the RNA primer is removed by the RNase in the eukaryote. The RNA primer that is present there, the RNA primer is removed by the RNase in the eukaryotes. And the uncharacterized DNA polymerase fill in the gap with DNA. That is mainly the DNA. In the prokaryotic DNA, polymerase 1, DNA polymerase 1 both removes the primer, 5', which is also known 5' exonuclease, and synthesize the new DNA beginning at the 3' end of the neighboring Okazaki fragment. So there is a little bit change in the prokaryotic and eukaryotic DNA replication. So now what happens? Both eukaryotic and prokaryotic DNA polymerase have ability to proofread. DNA polymerase have ability to proofread. By their works of the 3', 5' exonuclease activity. If DNA polymerase make a single mistake during a DNA synthesis, the resulting unpaired basis of 3' end of the growing strand is removed before synthesis continues. That is the very important picture here. Now the DNA ligase seals the nick between Okazaki fragments. There are different Okazaki fragments, and the DNA ligase seals these nicks, converting them to the continuous strand of the DNA. And DNA guidance topoisomerase 2 provides the seal in front of each replication fork. As the helicase unwind the DNA at the replication fork, the DNA ahead of the replication being overwound. Let us take an example. Suppose two threads are twisting each other. Two threads are twisting each other like this. I'll tell you the action of DNA. Like the two threads are twisting, and you want to open this thread like this. Suppose you want to open this thread. Obviously there will be the formation of the supercoil here. There will be formation of the supercoil, and to prevent the formation of the supercoil, there is the DNA topoisomerase. DNA guidance inserts the negative supercoils by nicking the both strand of DNA, passing the DNA strand through the nick, and then releasing and then resealing both strands. That is the very important action. So now that's how the DNA replication occurs. Now let us revise in brief that what happened in the DNA replication. Suppose I'll I'll tell you one story how to remember. It means it is very easy and to remember the DNA replication, but I'll tell you the story. Suppose there is a DNA and the DNA want to mix the, suppose there is one DNA, it want to mix the two copy of DNA. Now first of all, what happens, the where the DNA synthesis should occur, the origin of replication is identified, and in the prokaryotic cell there is one site origin per chromosome, but in prokaryotic cell there is multiple site per chromosome. And how the unwinding of the double helix DNA occurs in the both prokaryotic and eukaryotic, it is done by the helicase. Now stabilization of the unwound template strand is done by the single strand DNA binding protein, SSB protein, is both prokaryotic and eukaryotic. The synthesis of the RNA primer is done by the primase in the both prokaryotic and eukaryotes. And the synthesis of the DNA leading strand, lagging strand is also known as Okazaki fragments, done by the DNA polymerase 3 in the prokaryotic cell, whereas DNA polymerase alpha plus delta in the eukaryotic cells. The removal of the RNA primer in the prokaryotes is done by the DNA polymerase 1, whereas in the eukaryotes it is done by the RNase H. The replacement of the RNA with the DNA is done by the DNA polymerase 1 in the prokaryote cells, whereas DNA polymerase delta in eukaryote cells. The joining of Okazaki fragments is done by the DNA ligase in both prokaryotes and eukaryotes. The removal of the positive supercoils ahead of the advancing replication fork is done by the DNA topoisomerase 2, which is also known as the DNA guidase in the prokaryotes and DNA topoisomerase 2 in the eukaryotes. That you should know the concept. And another concept you should know, the telomerase. The concept of telomerase you should see. So it is telomerase is present in the eukaryotes only. A reverse transcriptase, RNA dependent DNA polymerase that adds DNA TTAGGG sequence to the 3' ends of the chromosome to avoid loss of genetic material with every duplication. And it is often dysregulated by the cancer cell, allowing them the uninhibited replication. So you should really know the concept of telomerase. Thank you. This much for today.